Glock, and we have a Glock 43 here. We're back on the Concealed Carry channel. I'm Grant McLean. Thank you so much for joining us today. Got a fun review on a Glock, and we have a Glock 43 here to show you, of course, our findings at the range with the gun, and also do a unboxing so you can see what's going to come with this gun if you choose to buy it. So before we jump in, of course, I'm going to ask that you please hit that like, hit the subscribe, and comment something awesome below. That definitely helps out the channel a lot. And of course, thank you again to our friends over at Northwest Armory. They have been doing a fantastic job with supporting the channel, making sure we get guns in our hands and get them down to the range, get that info back to you. That way you can make a well-educated decision on whether or not this is going to be a good fit for you, okay? So if you do need to get a gun, go to nwarmory.com and you can order your gun and they will ship it to your local FFL. They're awesome with that. And if you happen to pop into the store, tell them that Grant over the Concealed Carry channel sent you in. Make sure to give lots of pets to Khaki because he is such a good boy, and you'll be good to go from there. What we have today is a Glock 43, okay? So let's go ahead and unbox this baby right here. So what we have here is the firearm, okay? Drop the mag out there. All right, so we have the firearm, single stack, model number 43. Okay, this is considered to be a subcompact. You're going to get 2 magazines with this. These are both 6 rounds. One is a flush fit magazine. The other one has a pinky extension. You're going to have a little mag loader there. You're going to have your lock, a little brush, a little cleaning rod, and you're going to have a nice little envelope tucked behind the foam of your case, which is going to have all your other propaganda. This is brand new, so I don't want to pop this open for its next owner. Let's go ahead and set this case aside here and talk about this firearm. Okay, so specs on this guy here. Like I said, this is a single stack 9mm. It is a 6+1 for the magazines, one in the chamber there. This is a polymer frame, metal slide. The barrel length on this is 3.4 inches. I rounded up just a little bit there. The length on this is 6.26 inches. The height with the flush magazine is 4.25 inches, and the width on this is 1.1 inches. All right, so this is meant to be a easily concealable gun. Okay, the weight on this, it weighs in at 1 pound 2 ounces with the magazine in there empty. All right, these have a MSRP of $529. I've seen them sell for a bit lower than that during times like right now during the COVID-19 pandemic. I have seen them sell for a bit more than that. So $529 will get you a Glock 43. And we'll talk about the Glock 43X as well in this review because there is some differences in that, and you might be deciding between those two different Glocks. Let's jump over to our findings from the range, you guys. So we have our 3, 5, 7, and 10 yards right here. If you haven't seen this before, we are doing 5 shots in 2 seconds, okay? So we have a awesome group right there at the 3 yards, 1.1 inch group. 5 shots, 2 seconds. I must say I'm pretty proud of myself with that one. And I really pulled that one out of my ass, I'm pretty sure, because with the rest of these, they don't reflect that. So 5 yards, 2.9 inch group, 7 yards, 4.6, and 10 yards, 5.25 inch group. Now this is of course standing, this is on a rest or anything like that. And overall, it's not the worst that I've done. I can tell you that with the P365 SAS. I definitely did worse on the 10 yards. But pretty much at the 7 yards, the groups really started to expand. It wasn't just like there was 4 out of the 5 shots within like a 3-inch group, and then one shot kind of drifted off, and I have to take that into accountability in the groupings. But with this one, it definitely got exponentially larger in the groupings. So with that being said, this is probably one of the less accurate guns as far as this size goes that I have shot in that, except for the Sig Sauer SAS. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so that's kind of what we found there at the range. And let's talk about this gun. Let's go top to bottom like we do, starting off with the sights. Okay, so with the sights, you have your typical Glock sights. They are made of plastic. You have the U shape in the back and the white dot in the front. So if you're used to shooting with Glock sights, these are very familiar. These are easily replaceable sights. So if you wanted to do like metal sights or tritium sights or something, there's like about 1 billion different sights you can get for Glocks, and they're easily replaceable. So that's not a huge thing right there. Everybody knows that. Let's go ahead and go into the slide here. Now, one of the things that's gonna be different from the 43 to the 43X is you'll notice the front serrations don't exist on this. They are on the 43X. The rear serrations, they operate just like you would think they would. Okay, no problems there. The spring it's heavy, but not super heavy. I wouldn't say that this is Shield EZ heavy, light, but it's for a subcompact, not bad. I don't think that this is anything different than what you'd find on like a 365 or a regular Shield or anything in this size. So yep, not too crazy there. The thing that I do like about the Glock 43X is, yes, I do like the front serrations, okay, but also where this is very boxy, as you can see on the front of the slide, the 43X, what they've done is they've kind of rounded those off, okay, and I do really like that. It's a little bit more modern, okay, and it's not as boxy, but at the same time, some people really like that boxiness about Glocks. They kind of embrace it, and aesthetically, if you like that, what, this could be a good fit for you if you like that boxiness. So other than that, there's nothing too special about the slides, and that's just kind of how I feel like Glocks are aesthetically. They're not a overly sexy gun or anything like that. It's like a little box with a handle that shoots bullets. You know what I mean? So, but it's gonna get the job done. That's the thing. It's like I've said before, it's like the F-150. You know what I mean? There's nothing too crazy about it until you start putting your own personal touches into it. And there are about 1 billion different things that you could do to this gun. So the slide, yeah, if you wanted to machine it, put it in like a red dot, you can definitely, get that machined at a gunsmith. At the same time, you could do the front serrations, and you could Cerakote it any color in the book that you want to. The barrels on this are, easily replaceable. So if you wanted to do, a different color barrel or a threaded barrel, I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem by any means. It just depend on your pocketbook. So let's go ahead and jump into the safeties. As far as the safeties go, you have your typical Glock trigger safety right there. It engages just fine, works just fine, okay? I wouldn't say anything too special about the safeties there, other than if you are looking for more safeties than that, this is probably not going to be a good fit for you because that is just how it comes, all right? So if you're looking for a thumb safety or anything else like that, you might want to look into like a Sig Sauer with a manual safety, or you might want to look into a Shield with a manual safety as far as that goes. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the mag release. Okay, so this is a reversible mag release. As of right now, it is set up on the left side of the pistol, but you can easily move that over to the right side for you lefties out there. This mag release is for me, I have a Glock 45 over here. I got a Glock 19 over here, a Glock 44, and I found that this release is really kind of sticky, and the mags themselves, you'll see here, like they're just kind of sticky. I don't know what that is. I've looked into this and I don't find anything on the mags or any particular reason why, but they definitely, you know, don't just come out, you know, nice and smooth like that. You know, they're kind of stuck in there a little bit. So if your hand is somewhat in the way and it stops that mag from coming out just a little bit, it really does have to get out of the way so it can drop that mag properly. So it could be this one that I have. This is a brand new gun though. Could be that, and I've really, you know, I thought in my head, hey, this is brand new, maybe it needs to, you know, get some time with this mag going in and out of there. And I mean, I have ran this again and again and again, and it doesn't seem to be smoothing out. So could be this gun, not sure. You know, hey, in the comments, let me know, is that an issue that you've been having with yours? That'll help out the community that looks at these videos for honest reviews, okay? But anyways, the magazine, aesthetically, not the most pleasing thing. It definitely looks like a copy-paste item. You know, it doesn't match any of the rest of the gun. But, you know, this is another thing that a lot of guys or a lot of people swap out. They'll do an enhanced magazine or they'll do a metal one and just kind of upgrade that. So if you plan on doing that and you're looking at this mag and you're like, you know what, I don't get the best purchase on there, you're probably going to end up swapping it out anyways. Like I said, you know, these kind of tend to be, in my opinion, like the F-150. It's a good vehicle. It's going to get the job done. It's going to do more than most. But then you're really going to start to like it a lot more once you've done your own personal touches to it. Let's talk about those mags. You do have a flush fit 6-round mag. Okay, so you'll see that there, nice and flush. And then you'll have one with a pinky extension there, which is nice. And I have about medium-sized hands, and this fits my hands just fine. Same thing goes, though. You want to make sure that you get your hand completely out of the way, because even this guy here does tend to stick a bit in there, okay? So, come out of there. Just something to keep in mind. The next thing here is we're going to talk about this grip. Now, with the 43, you do have the beaver tail built into the grip. There aren't any back straps for this that you can attach to it and make it bigger, but you can get a nice deep purchase, nice high and deep purchase into that grip. And that extra little bit of beaver tail does help manage the recoil. As far as the grip goes, there's no real bells and whistles to this. You do kind of have a little bit of, you know, curvature here, which kind of creates a little bit of a palm swell on the back side of the grip. Other than that, I mean, it's not as boxy. It is a single stack, so it's not as boxy as like a 26 or a 19 or 1745, 19X, 34, any of those other double stacked 9mm. It does feel like here, as far as the top of this grip, like a Glock 43X. Now, with the texturing, this texture is the same pattern, but it is not as aggressive as one of their compacts or full sizes. And that was kind of a bummer to me because I don't feel that... Okay, I should say this. Most the times that I have found with subcompacts and more of these easily concealable carry guns, they're going to take the grips and they're going to soften them up a little bit, so that way when it's against your clothing or your skin, you're not going to chafe or ruin your clothes or anything like that, okay? But I don't feel that that was the case with this texture anyways. and on the 19s or any of their compact size or full size models, I didn't feel that that texture was overly aggressive anyways. I mean, keep in mind people have had that gun as a concealed carry for, I mean, many years. That's probably one of the most selling concealed carry guns or carry guns ever. So I don't think that was a big deal. Plus, people will take those and stipple them and make them even more aggressive. So I wish Glock would have made this a more aggressive grip. At the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to say. But other than that, it's not the most comfortable grip by any means. You know, it could have definitely used a little bit more curves to it. I wish that it did have the finger groove there, especially if you're going to be running the flush fit mag, to be able to at least get something underneath your middle finger there to help with the recoil. That would have been nice, but you know, that pinky extension, just that little lip right there, that definitely does help. So that's my thoughts on that grip. I would have liked to have had that undercut there at the trigger guard go up a little bit higher if I could, but I think for what this is from the factory, that's not too bad. The other thing too I want to mention about the grip is this grip is obviously without the pinky extension here, so you're going to have your pinky kind of dangling off, and you do have the pinky extension that comes with it, and then you have the flush fit. So here's one of the things that I found that's kind of swaying people to the Glock 43X is the X does have, it essentially has like this pinky extension and a little bit more backstrap already built into it. It's longer. And with that, you're going to go from 6 rounds to 10 rounds. So you're going to have a higher capacity mag, but you are going to also have a longer grip. So if you can afford to do that without, you know, sacrificing whatever it might be, you don't want to print more, then this might be a good option if what you have here prints very little, if at all. But if you're like, okay, I can afford to have a bit more of the grip come out, so I want to have higher capacity, then awesome, go with more capacity. As far as the trigger goes, this is your typical Glock trigger. It's got the safety in there. This one is heavier than most Glocks that I'm familiar with. However, I really didn't seem to mind that the trigger was heavier. And Glock advertises 5.5 pounds, but it's definitely more than that. And I kind of went down the internet rabbit hole, and I've seen 8 pounds, 12 pounds, things like that. And there's plenty of aftermarket companies that are doing trigger kits that you can put in there that are advertising triggers all the way down to 2.5 pounds. But, you know, the reason why I don't mind that it's a heavier trigger, and I've mentioned this in other reviews, is when the safety that you have is on the trigger, it's the only safety you have on the gun. A heavier trigger is almost like just a little extra safety. Because in the case that you did have to use this and your adrenaline kicks in, I don't think that you're going to care if it's 10 pounds, 12 pounds, whatever, okay, in that case, all right? But of course, if you do have a super light trigger, and say for some reason that you had an appendix carry and you're putting this into your holster and something just got in there, who knows what it might be, button from your pants or something like that, and it just was enough to pull that trigger back, and you know, God forbid you shot yourself in the groin. Yeah, I think, you know, that heavier trigger is not a bad thing in those cases. As far as trigger goes, you know, you kind of have this usual Glock thing where you have this squishy kind of take up, and then you hit the wall and it squishes a little bit more, and then it finally breaks, right? You know, I really don't mind that so much, because on the reset, when it resets, it immediately goes to where it's going to break. So there's your reset, and it's going to break right there, all right? So for me, it's like, okay, so the first shot is a little squishy, and this is brand new too, and I have found that even with my 19, after about 1,000 rounds, the trigger just it does get smoother. Still has a little bit of squish to it, but I find that it's at least very consistent. That being said, you got some take up, you hit the wall, breaks, and then on your next shot, it's right there on the reset, and it's ready to break again. And it's definitely heavier, but you know what? To me, that's not a super big deal. I mean, if you're shooting a revolver, you know, and you're used to double action, you know, this trigger is nothing comparative to something like that. When it comes to the ergonomics of this gun, it's not a very sexy gun. It's not very ergonomic. It's, you know, to me, it's boxy. So when you have it on you, I mean, you can feel those corners, you know, so you want to make sure you have a good holster that's going to support that. But then, you know, the back strap and the grip, they're thin. There isn't any finger grooves or anything to really kind of fill out your hand, I should say. So it's like you can see that when I grab this, there's space in there. And so the inside of my palm is just a big air pocket inside. You know, had this had like a little bit of palm swell to it, that would have been fantastic. I would have really liked that. And then, of course, if the stippling was, or the texture on the grip was a bit more aggressive, that would have been fantastic, especially when your hands start to get sweaty. So overall, as far as the ergonomics, it's just a so-so to me. You know, even the slide lock release lever right there, it's just so-so. It's not very well pronounced. It's kind of funny. You actually have a big spot on the frame that you could put a bigger slide lock release, but they didn't. They just kept it little and tiny. So, yeah, I can see kind of somebody saying, oh, well, it's meant to be concealed and smooth, but I mean, when they kind of put that big spot there, you could definitely go bigger. So that's kind of a bummer they didn't take advantage of that. For accessories on this, pretty much sky's the limit. Okay, you're not going to the moon and back, though. There is no front rail on here, all right? So you're not going to just throw on all sorts of lights and laser combos and things like that. You're going to be more limited than you would normally be if you had the Glock accessory rail or you had a three slot type of 1913 rail in the front there. As far as extended magazines go, there are a couple +2 base pads that you can get to go on here. But like I mentioned earlier, if you're going to do the +2 base pads anyways, you might be better off just going with a Glock 43X. And with that being said too, Shield Arms makes a metal magazine for the Glock 43X, which bumps it from a 10-round capacity to a 15-round capacity. And you're not changing anything about the gun, you're just simply eliminating the bulky plastic and replacing that with a metal mag. You just pop it in and you're good to go. And these are like $40 a piece. So they're not terribly expensive either. So that's, you know, those are a couple of your different options. But, you know, if you want kind of that subcompact, true and tried single stack 9mm, you know, go with the 43. I'm a firm believer that Glock doesn't introduce anything into the market unless it's Glock perfection. And so, you know, I'd feel more uncomfortable grabbing any new model like the 45 or the 19X or 43X and shoving a couple thousand rounds down the pipe. And I would expect that it's not going to malfunction once. And I have found that with my own Glocks. I mean, including that little Glock 44 22 caliber. 22s just inherently are super dirty, and I have not had one malfunction from the gun other than me running the cheapest garbage ammo I could possibly find and just getting a few duds. But other than that, that thing has ran like crazy. And even through that little 22, I have nearly 3,000 rounds through that gun. So I use it as a practice gun and a warm-up gun every time I go to the range. But anyways, let's talk about this. That's that's what I would say is if you are, want that classic true tried single stack 9mm, go with this. If you're a little bit open to something more high capacity and you can afford to have some more length to the hand grip, and you want some front serrations up there, then I would say consider the 43X. Overall, the fit and finish of the gun it's pretty good. It's not anything that I get super excited about. You have your machining in the front there for the Glock 43. Like I said, the texture on there, I wish that was more aggressive, but I do like how it has the built-in beaver tail there. The finish on, like I said, the magazine, it looks very cut and paste, but that's how it is on all Glocks. The slide lock release, I wish that they would have taken advantage of the real estate inside of that little cutout that they did. The other thing too is this, and I'm being a little crucial here, is the pinky extension. Okay. Oh yeah, and the magazines. The magazines, like, I don't know if it's just this particular one that I have in my hands, but the magazines just tend to like stick in there. So I don't know what, like I said, if you have, there we go. If you're having those, come on, there we go. Gosh, that thing just didn't want to pop out of there. If you're having that issue, or, if you have a solution for that issue, definitely comment on that, because, if somebody else is watching this and they have that same issue, we want to share the love, So you can see here with the pinky extension there's nothing cohesive. Even the finish on it, if you look at the texturing, and I'm not talking about the little squares on the front, back, and side straps. I'm talking about just the polymer frame itself. It doesn't even have the same finish on it. So it's from the factory this way, but it doesn't look like a factory accessory. And for me, I feel like it's one of those things that could so easily be taken care of from the factory. And when I get something from the factory and it's a factory accessory, I expect that it's going to carry the same characteristics as what I'm looking to accessorize. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. Thank you guys again for joining me on, this review. It was really fun, reviewing this, because right now these guns are pretty darn hard to find. So to get my hands on one, I was pretty thankful about that. But like I said earlier, if you have one of these, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Why did you choose it? If you considered one of these, what was the deterrent, and what did you end up going with instead? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and comment something awesome if you can. That helps out our channel immensely. And then, of course, Northwest Armory. Big supporters of the channel. They have made it really convenient and easy for me to get these guns onto the tabletop reviews and make sure I'm getting good time behind the triggers at the range to give you my honest opinion and feedback. And I'm hoping that feedback is proving to be relevant and valuable to you. So if you do need anything from the Northwest Armory, just go to nwarmory.com and you can order a gun, ship it to your local FFL, and basically you're good to go from there. If you do stop in the store, tell them that Grant over the Concealed Carry channel sent you, and they'll make sure to take very good care of you. All right, you guys, so hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you next time on the Concealed Carry channel. You get your hand nice and deep. What am I trying to say? Yeah, I don't know what's up with that magazine. Just come out. No. Even the John Wick doesn't work. Oh, there it goes. That one worked. The end.